Hey YouTube, this is Ben Gessel. I'm gonna make at least one more video today. So this one is I'm just gonna call it like social media. Our preferences for social media and why we choose what we choose. Um, um, okay, so let's talk about first off all the different kinds of social media there are. And there's probably a lot that I'm gonna not think about because there's a lot of new websites that have come out, social like video platforms and things I'm not going to mention yet. So just I'm not as familiar with them. I'll at least mention the ones that I'm at least I know about. So I don't know if I consider Pinterest a social media site. That's different, but I mentioned it anyway. So there's Tumblr, which is kind of I have you know it's kind of different, weird. I don't know. Then there's Twitter and Instagram and Snapchat, I think, and Facebook, of course, and there's Reddit, and there's Dig. I think some of these are probably a little bit different than social media sites, of course. And then there's I'm not going to include. I'll mention it because it used to be a thing, MySpace, but it's kind of a rock band thing now. Anyway, and of course YouTube, plus some of the newer social video sharing platforms I've heard of. That anyway. So am I forgetting any of them? By the way, here, sure I am. But anyway, so I have a few things to mention here about these different sites and why some of us kind of prefer these different sites. When I was on Twitter briefly, I noticed that the whole idea was to share thoughts with other people, some opinions and things, in as few words as possible. I'm never really that. I'm just not that kind of person. I mean, if I don't want to talk, I don't want to talk. When I do want to talk, I can be very verbose, extremely verbose. So Twitter, I've never had much use for it. Just people, just these, if you hear the word Twitter, you're just like done, done. That's not how I operate. I'm not always just, having these short little sentence responses to everything. It's, and then, so maybe it sounds like I'm kind of bad mouthing some of these media sites. What I am saying is just why I don't use them, and it's a personality thing. And I want you guys to pay close attention to, if you do use them, why is it that you use them and what you like about them. But yeah, the Twitter thing is just everybody's just tweeting all the time these little things. Why? Just to draw attention to something. You know, if you can tweet about stuff and you can be totally benevolent and fine, good, and all that stuff. And I don't think in those regards. I don't think in short little spurts of thought. If I ever were to be that way, it would be something spontaneous or something where I have a bunch of things I want to think about or write, and then I just, But I tend not to think that way. It's more in depth, drawn out kind of thing. If it's something worth thinking about, I might want to think about it for a bit, or take a bit of time to explain something that is worth explaining. So that's Twitter. So yeah, Instagram I haven't really used. So I imagine it's not something. I've never really found much of a need to join it. Now let's talk about Facebook here for a bit. Facebook used to be a nice convenient way to have all your friends in one site. But you can just, there's my friends, and you can talk to them. You can send them messages, and it's nice. Well, I guess it still can serve that purpose for many people. My own family members, will still use Facebook in this regard, but it's really archaic. It's really blue, white background. You're asking a bunch of questions all the time about, You think, oh, that's no big deal. It's just answering questions because it's fun. About myself, right? You're talking about yourself. It's fun. And that's what people often do on Facebook is to talk about themselves. It's very narcissistic. I don't know. But it's all about me, right? And if you actually if you're actually not posting it on your own page and you're not doing a whole lot of that, or if you are doing that, but it's not especially me centered. If you're going on to other people's pages and offering, comforting words and whatever else, that's all fine and good, I guess, suppose. But it's like, how much time do you spend doing that stuff? And how helpful is that in real life? I mean, would it be, if you can go see someone in real life that lives really close to you, why wouldn't you do that? And so I have my own beefs with Facebook, but I can understand why. I still have, I got on it very occasionally, but I've realized what it is, aside from all the conspiracy theory stuff. And yeah, so let's get to YouTube, my preferred social media site. On YouTube, you can make your own videos. You can watch other people's videos. You can listen to music. You can watch movies. You can add subscriptions. You can delete subscription or unsubscribe. You can comment on things. You can look at your analytics if you make videos. You can. There's a lot of different things you can do. There really are. You could look for people that you know if you wanted to do that on YouTube, but I think a lot of folks probably prefer to use YouTube as a way to meet new people, but in a really kind of no pressure kind of thing, or kind of a maybe we want to know stuff, maybe we want to meet people, but maybe we just I don't know. It's kind of like, for introverts, it's less threatening. But if you make videos, you're kind of forced to be more of an extrovert, which is healthy in a way, I suppose. It's kind of a win-win situation, in my opinion. It's still one of the best ones. But why is it that I prefer YouTube in this video? Why is it I prefer YouTube over Facebook and Twitter, for instance, amongst a few other things I mentioned, maybe? Well, because Facebook you can post videos, but those videos are often on YouTube. So why not just use YouTube? And Twitter is just, yeah. You can't see on YouTube. You can post lengthy comments and responses to comments. You can post lengthy videos if you want to. You can have these more drawn out trains of thought. You can't. I mean, on Facebook, it depends on the person, I suppose, but you can leave lengthier comments and things. You can instant message and stuff. Instant messaging may be the best feature on Facebook, but also may be the most annoying, because if people you find are just kind of annoying and you don't want to be unkind to them, you kind of tolerate them. But if you're busy with something, you have to say, well, I'm busy with something. So, yeah, instant messaging, just a nice way to kind of say, hey, pardon me, but do you have a second? It's more annoying in a way than phone calls, because phone calls, you can pick it up and say, oh, I'm busy at the moment. All right, well, let's chat for a bit. And instant messaging, it's just, brink, it'll pop up. A lot of times people ignore it, but if you ignore it, sometimes you feel like you're being unkind, but you're not really being unkind. It's just, I guess it always is a question of who you're talking to and whatever else. But, I just, YouTube is still the best, but I've heard some critiques of YouTube, right? I've heard them, and they are sinking in very deeply. And again, at this moment, YouTube has too much going for it for me to unsubscribe, just drop it entirely. But the folks that are really attacking YouTube are really kind of more, I guess you're supposed, in the alternate media arena. And I definitely am hearing what they're saying, and they make some very strong points. And all I can say is, as far as, we'll just say as far as politics, but maybe other things too. YouTube does not seem to be very friendly toward, well, you know what I'm saying. It's a conspiracy theory type thing. It's very pro Illuminati, very not so friendly toward um, traditional values and religions, that sort of thing. So yeah, but if you don't post those things, or if it's minimal, or if your videos aren't monetized, even if they are monetized, it's a question of kind of how visible are you? How many subscribers do you have? How many? If YouTube wants to push some kind of left wing thing, okay, but there's so much more content on YouTube, so I see no reason to just abandon YouTube at this point. I'm not, as you know, I'm definitely not a political. This is not a political channel, basically. I might mention these things here and there, but that's not the focus it's not the focus of this channel. And also neither is the focus of this channel religion, or it's a lot of different things. So I'm not worried, and people worry about their videos, without their permission, going out to other sites and things, and it just depends on what you're putting on YouTube. But that is a real danger. Is without your permission, somebody what's the word? I'm not sure what the word I'm looking for here is at the moment, but it's when someone takes a video and posts it elsewhere. And it's great because you get more views, you get more publicity, but it's just a video that you want to be made more public, and you can't then delete what someone else did. So that's the danger. So, and there's always the question of what content on YouTube is appropriate to post, and something that would jeopardize your future employment and things. And what I'm so frustrated about is how nebulous and how nobody's talking about it. Very few people. I haven't heard very much about it at all. We all know that if you post something on Facebook that's not good, you can get fired. That's an old hat. It's almost as old of a hat as opening a suspicious email, or actually, there's the older trains of thought with computer viruses that now what happens is you're talking more about Trojan horses and we'll fix your computer, but it's really download malware and spyware. So malware and spyware, Trojan horses are a bit more of a thing now. It used to be that, anyway. You see what I'm trying to say is posting inappropriate things in Facebook is kind of a little bit of old hat. What people are wondering is, can your employers or future employers look on your YouTube page for anything they don't like? But we all can express our opinions about a lot of things. But there are some, jobs where I think it's more anything that has to do with any kind of views of discrimination. But not just that, it's other things as well. But if somebody sees a video and it sounds like it's, in that ballpark, it could be in trouble. If not now, then in the future. Or you might not be able to get a job because some future employer saw a video of you explaining something not so great. And there are people on YouTube that have put content on there that if they wanted a certain job, they probably wouldn't get it. But some folks have made it their job. And so they're also dependent on YouTube, on how much YouTube pays them. And they've realized that YouTube can not pay them what they used to pay them. So this is also kind of a real thing. And so if you're comedic, depending on the nature of what you're putting on YouTube that's comedic, employers may or may not find that to be an issue. Or other such craziness, or, slapstick, or, you're probably going to be better off if it's more of a witty kind of thing, or highbrow, not lowbrow so much. But it depends on what jobs you want to have, But, okay. Most things, if they're well thought out, can be probably put on YouTube. But it's just something that, again, there's very little. We don't know as much as we think we know about even YouTube. So that's why a lot of folks are getting moving to other platforms, and it's just a kind of a thing you guys should check out. I think it is worth checking out if you're really into the video sharing thing. So there's also other apps, like I think some kind of thing. Sometimes it's my own family members that bring up certain apps like Marco Polo or something. But I don't know if that's a social media thing. There's something like Marco Polo that maybe is more like that, but it kind of is. But there's all kinds of other things like that I'm not even thinking of. That YouTube has its appeal because it's such a big audience. It's huge. It's the biggest one in the world. And it's set up there's a lot of good things about it, but there may come a point in time when it stops to be as much of a big thing, and it might take quite some time before it becomes like MySpace. Facebook has already become more like MySpace, not quite like MySpace, but it's going that direction. But there's still a lot of people that have Facebooks because it's like your little black book of contacts or whatever. Well, it's just online. The problem with Facebook, of course, is that there's a lot of people that want to steal your identity, and there's a lot of people that want to just sucker you or scam you. And so Facebook still hasn't dealt with that effectively, in my opinion. It still hasn't. And if you want to meet new people on Facebook, it's better to know people in real life and then find them on Facebook. But if you try to meet new people on Facebook, that's really hard and frustrating. And Facebook is not very great that way. So YouTube can be better about YouTube, and YouTube also allows people to be very private and not put anything out there. So when I get, there are times when I get messages, or they're positive messages, or they're messages that say, I'm more interested in your channel, or I'm more interested in your content. This has happened ever since I've been starting my channel. And when I go to that person's channel to see if I want to subscribe to them or what they have, or what they're like, they don't have anything on there. So that's not a big deal. That's not a big deal, right? I just realized, I probably can't get very far with anything at present regarding this person. It depends on what the nature of their comments are, I suppose, and where they want to chat, and how. And most folks don't want to put out their information until they know you well enough. That makes complete sense. So YouTube is still not the greatest place to meet new people, but in my opinion, it has some advantages over Facebook because it's video sharing. But it also means that you need to be able to know how to make your own videos, and you don't have to know how to make your own videos. You can just make them like I make them. If you don't monetize them, they don't have to be that high quality videos in terms of your equipment and all your other things you like to do. But if that's another thing too. Is anyway, that's a whole other subject. But I hope you guys get the gist of what I'm talking about here. There's some things that you can take away from this video that are going to be great in your life. And leave me your thoughts and comments below. I'll catch you guys later. Bye.